Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our public planning hearing for Monday, March 27th, 2023. We have 4 files this evening. Nurmi and Gilmartin, Marjay Farms, Isaac and Elizabeth Bauman, and Kinburn Street in that order. So I will call this meeting to order at 5 o'clock, and I'll ask if there's any declaration of pecuniary interest. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. So this public meeting was called under Section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, as amended, concerning 4 proposed zoning bylaw amendments to Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 2004-50. Any person or public body is entitled to attend the public meeting and make written or oral submissions in support of or in opposition to any of the proposed amendments. Written comments should be submitted to the planning department. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the municipality of Grey Highlands before the zoning bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of council of the municipality of Grey Highlands to the Ontario Land Tribunal. And in addition, they may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the tribunal, unless in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. It is important to note that if you wish to be mailed a notice of the passage of the bylaw and or notice of decision, and you do not live within 120 meters of the subject property, you must provide your request in writing to the planning department of the municipality of Grey Highlands. Registering for this virtual meeting does not represent your written request. A guideline sheet is available upon request. So agenda item 3.1 is zoning bylaw amendment number Z02.2023, affecting lands owned by Tracey, Nurmi, and Simon Gilmartin. The legal description is lot 21, part lot 851, ARTEMESIA, Grey Highlands, has a civic address of 221 Peters Crescent. The notice of this public meeting was mailed by standard mail on the 17th day of February 2023 to the property owner and to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject property. In addition to all agencies and persons identified in the Planning Act. At this time, council will hear presentations by the applicant or their agent. Believe I saw there's a applicant. It is Kristen Sachs. We've got Simon.
Hello.
Hi, Simon. Is it okay if I call you Simon?
Yeah, please do. Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything you want to say about your application?
Yeah. So Tracey and I are building a deck on our house at 221 Peters Crescent. There's an existing deck at ground level. Basically, at the back of the house, we are planning on adding the same size above. Down the side of the house, there's an existing small deck at that second level that's going to get torn down, and then we're going to attach it and wrap around to the back. It's a little longer and about a foot wider than the one that's there now. And as I understand it from the planning committee, that because it represents 17% of our lot instead of 15, we need this variance, and we need to ask for a hold to be removed. The other thing I know is that the Grey Sauble has already approved their version of the permit as well.
Okay. So normally a minor variance goes through the Committee of Adjustment, but I guess because you're also asking for the lift of hold, it was decided to do this in one meeting. Is that correct, Planner Pasha?
Yes, Councillor Artem, that is correct.
Okay. All right. So Simon, anything else, or should I go to our planner now?
No, I don't have anything else. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you. At this time, our municipal planner will advise of any comments received and will provide an overview of the purpose and the effect of the bylaw. Planner Pasha?
Thank you, Councillor Artem. So it's, as Simon has stated, essentially the southeastern portion of the deck is a lot long, would constitute as new lot coverage on the property, as there's nothing existing there previously. It would turn the maximum lot coverage from 15% to 17.5%. And because it does that extension of the lot coverage, and there's also a holding provision on the property, there's a zoning bylaw amendment that's this application is taking into effect. Essentially, the effect of this bylaw is to rezone the subject property from RS005 and H, which is the hazard, to RS469 and hazard. Exception 469 will essentially increase the permitted lot coverage on the property for a residential structure from 15% to 18%. This will allow, and the zoning bylaw amendment will also remove the holding provision that's applied on the property. This will allow the essentially the deck to be constructed where it is proposed, and it will provide them with enough lot coverage for it to occur. And it will also remove the holding provision so that the development can occur on the property. In terms of comments received, Grey County Planning has no concerns related to the subject application. Grey Sawville Conservation Authority have also stated that they have no objections or concerns to the subject proposal. And Grey Highlands Transportation, Environmental, Emergency Services, and Building Services have stated no concerns to the proposal. That is all.
Okay, thank you. So just going back to my comment about the Committee of Adjustment, because this is a residential shoreline zoning, was I incorrect on that it does need to come, this is the process as opposed to Committee of Adjustment? I seem to think we've done some minor variances out on the lake without going through a zoning bylaw amendment first.
Yeah, so you can do it either way. You can do it through a zoning amendment or a minor variance. Essentially, we decided to do the zoning amendment because there was also a hold that needed to be lifted along with the relief needed from the lot coverage provision. We have done minor variances for, I believe we've done it for lot coverages in side yard setbacks as well. And in some cases, we've done it for rear yard setbacks under 45.2. But we could do it either or way. Usually those applications didn't have a hold involving the property,
Right.
which would mean that, you know, we could do it through one application or we could do it through multiple applications through a different time frame as well.
Okay. Manager Rapke, did you have any more comments?
Yeah, just that was all you know, Abdullah covered it. The one thing to note, if you guys see this occur and notice the discrepancy, is sometimes we will still recommend applicants to do, if the hold is involved, you still do a lift of hold and a minor variance under section 45.2. If you're doing a minor variance under section 45.2, for example, you got a building that's set back 17 meters from the rear lot line or the lake, and the zoning bylaw requires a 30-meter setback, and they want to expand sideways or something to maintain that same setback, but they're not meeting 30 meters. You have to comply with the official plan to do a zoning bylaw amendment. So that wouldn't comply to bake both of the relief, the removal of the hold and the extension into a zoning amendment. So you still have to do two independent applications for the extension under 45.2, which doesn't have to comply with the official plan. So that's just a subtle nuance because they're not always the same the way we process these.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Are there any questions from council to either our planner or the applicant? Okay. I'm not seeing anything. So any person present wishing to object to or support the proposed zoning bylaw amendment or have any questions or comments, please indicate and state your name and address. And you can, if you're on a phone, you can use the raise hand feature by *9 and then *6 to unmute, or on a computer, your raise hand button. Is there anybody wishing to speak on this file? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Any last questions or comments from members of council? Okay, so if there's no further discussion, this application will be forwarded to a future council meeting for further consideration. So thank you, Simon, for attending.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Agenda item 3.2 is zoning bylaw amendment number Z04-2023, affecting lands owned by Marjay Farms Incorporated. The legal description is part lot 26, concession 7, OSPREY, as in R392939, except R419249, STGS 72922, Grey Highlands. Has a civic address, excuse me, of 409237 Grey Road 4. The notice of this public meeting was mailed by standard mail on the 17th day of February 2023 to the property owner and to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject property, in addition to all agencies and persons identified in the Planning Act. At this time, council will hear presentations by the applicant or their agent. Is there somebody wishing to speak? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody. Oh, there we go. Solomon, are you able to unmute?
Can you
There.
hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I just got on, so I guess you're waiting for me or what?
Yes, it's your turn. Yeah. Do you want to present your application?
Okay, this zoning amendment is to allow for a non-farm shop to supplement the farming income and to support the family, which will be a beef farming operation. This C4 shop is set back 147 meters from the road and will be screened by coniferous trees, spaced approximately 3 meters apart. There will be a small 8,000 square meter patch rezoned to permit this use, which is approximately 2 acres. But this does not really mean the whole 8,000 meters will be used. This shop would be placed in close proximity with the other farm buildings and will use the same truck yard as the existing barnyard. This shop is expected to be doing metalworks, including cylinders for farm machinery. Traffic is expected to be very minor. The owner is seeking to permit up to 5 employees. There is 550 square meter outdoor storage proposed as well. Trucks are expected to be around 3 trucks daily. And that's about it, I guess.
Okay, thank you. And now we'll have our municipal planner advise of any comments received, and we'll provide an overview of the purpose and effect of the bylaw. And Planner Pasha, please.
Yeah. So the effect of this bylaw, it is exactly as Solomon has stated. This on-farm diversified use meets all the requirements from the C4 zoning perspective. It's situated far enough away, is within a 250 square meter structure. It's within the 750 meter outdoor storage area section. The effect of this bylaw is to amend a portion of the subject lands from RU to our rural commercial with an exception C4 437. The 437 exception will permit uses that are in line with the proposed metalworks facility, as well as manufacturing operations that will use plastic or wood materials. So it's stated the fabrication material of the proposed uses are the fabrication, manufacturing, storage, and wholesale of automotive or agriculture components, a sawmill operation, including assembly, storage, and wholesale of wood furniture products, assembly, storage, and wholesale of plastic furniture, and the construction, storage, and sale of garden sheds. In terms of comments received, Grey County planning staff have stated that county transportation services have reviewed the subject application and have comments stating the permit is required to upgrade the existing entrance to commercial standard. Existing entrance has site distance and widening has been attained, no other concerns. And county planning staff have no concerns with the subject application. GSCA have stated that they have no objection to the proposal. And similarly, Greyhounds Transportation, Environmental Services, Emergency, and Building Services have stated that they have no concerns with the application.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for either the agent or our planner from members of council? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Any person present wishing to object to or support the proposed zoning bylaw amendment or have any questions or comments, please indicate and state your name and address. And again, raise hand feature, *9 on a phone, or the raise hand button on the computer. Is there anybody wishing to speak on this file? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Any questions, comments from council? Okay, as there's no further discussion, this application will be forwarded to a future council meeting for further consideration. Thank you, Solomon. Agenda item 3.3 is zoning bylaw amendment number Z06-2023, affecting lands owned by Isaac and Elizabeth Bauman. The legal description is lot 1 to 2, concession 3, NDR Artemesia, except part 1 and 2, 17R 2779 Grey Highlands. Has a civic address of 345019 Second Concession. The notice of this public meeting was mailed by standard mail on the 2nd day of March 2023 to the property owner and to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject property, in addition to all agencies and persons identified in the Planning Act. At this time, council will hear presentations by the applicant or their agent. Is the agent present? Okay, I see Alan Martin.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Good afternoon, Alan.
Hello. I have nothing more to add to this zoning amendment than what is on the zoning application. It's just like I put it on there. It's for a small scale on-farm shop, which meets all the criteria.
Okay. All right. Now I'll go to our planner then. And have them advise of, or him advise of any comments received, and he'll provide an overview of the purpose and the effect of the bylaw. Planner Pasha.
Yes, so the subject property is a 38-hectare parcel of land located in the northeast corner, the second concession in ARTEMESIA Glenelg Talbot, and is approximately 1.5 kilometers north of Pricewell. The property is mainly used for agriculture purposes and contains a dwelling, a barn, and a shed. The property is designated as agriculture and hazard within both the Grey County and Grey Highlands official plans. And it is zoned agriculture and hazard within the Grey Highlands zoning bylaw as well. The proposed development or rezoning is to be occurring in the area zoned as agriculture on the property. The applicant has proposed an on-farm diversified use on the property in the form of a 250 square meter fabrication manufacturing workshop. This will use metal, plastic, or wood components as its main ingredients or items. The applicant will require zoning bylaw amendment to permit the on-farm diversified use on the subject lands, as it is not a permitted use within the A1 zone. The purpose and effect. So the effect of this bylaw is to amend a portion of the subject lands from agriculture to rural commercial with an exception similar to the previous one, C4 437. The 437 exception will permit additional uses within the C4 zone and will clarify the scope of uses that are permitted as of right. So it will allow the fabrication, manufacturing, storage, and wholesale of automotive or agriculture components, a sawmill operation, including the assembly, storage, and wholesale of wood furniture products, the assembly, storage, and wholesale of plastic furniture, and the construction, storage, and sale of garden sheds. In terms of comments received, the Grey County Planning and Development staff have indicated that no concerns with the subject application are there, provided it meets D6 guidelines that can be addressed, which means the shop is situated at a minimum of 70 meters away from nearby noise receptors, which would mean homes, so 70 meters away from nearby homes. Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority have stated that they have no objections to the proposal for the subject or to the proposal. Grey Highlands Transportation Department have stated that an entrance permit will be required to upgrade the existing entrance to small scale commercial. And Grey Highlands Environmental, Emergency Services, and Building Services have stated that they have no concerns with the proposal.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the agent or our planner from members of council? All right, getting off easy this evening. Okay, any person present wishing to object to or support the proposed bylaw, zoning bylaw, or have any questions or comments, please state your name and address. And you can use the raise hand feature on the phone, *9, on the computer, the raise hand button. Is anybody wishing to speak from the public? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. So last chance for members of council. Any comments, questions? Okay. As there's no further discussion, this application will be forwarded to a future council meeting for further consideration. Okay, our last item is agenda item 3.4, zoning bylaw amendment application number Z02.2023 Kinburn Street. In this file, it's a little different, but it's a municipal-led application pertaining to several private properties and a municipal road allowance. And the legal description is part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Plan 16R 11726 and Lot 5, Plan 20, Artemesia in Grey Highlands. The roll numbers are 4208-18000-911-508, 4208-18000-910-300, and 4208-18000-310-400. and it includes a portion of the Kinburn Street road allowance. The notice of this public meeting was mailed by standard mail on the 17th day of February 2023 to the property owner and to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject property, in addition to all agencies and persons identified in the Planning Act. At this time, the municipal planner will present the file and advise of any comments received and provide an overview of the purpose and the effect of the bylaw. So, Manager Ratke, please.
Martel, can you go up a couple pages to that one? No, perfect. So this amendment relates to kind of some reshaping of some lot lines between multiple properties. And this has been before committee. There's one consent related to this, and most of the adjustments don't need consent. They involve municipal properties. So on the screen here, we got what I've called the middle lot, southern lot, and northern lot. Right now, the real middle lot is part 3 and part 4 combined. The real southern lot is just part 5. The cottage or cabin, what have you, for the southern lot is kind of not even on the southern lot at all. It's on part 4 and part 6. And the cabin cottage for the middle lot is barely on the middle lot and is on part 7 and part 2, both of which, so part 7 is part of the Kinburn Street road allowance and part 2 is part of a municipal lane. The northern lot is free and clear of any issues. It is vacant, but it's been kind of involved in this whole thing. So the proposal, and this has been going on for many, many years, I believe. I think these were built in like the 50s, and we've got records of ARTEMESIA trying to resolve some of this. And we're at the cusp of this being tidied up. So the municipality is disposing of part 6, 7, and 8 of the Kinburn Street road allowance, part 2 of the lane. Part 2 and part 7 are going to go to part 3 to make the middle lot with the red lines. Part 4, part 5, and part 8 are all going to go together to make the southern lot. And part 6 goes to the northern lot at the top there. This amendment is needed because we're changing some stuff. So the 2 existing, the middle and southern lot do not comply with the minimum lot size requirements of the residential zone. They don't get their non-conforming rights anymore when we rejig them and add pieces to them, because they're not a lot that was existing on the date of passing the bylaw. It's this new Frankenstein lot post-zoning implementation. So we have to do this amendment to recognize the undersized lot area. Some other elements here, and it's going through my list. So the northern one is going to be zoned R6464, which is just our next available arbitrary number. And that zoning will be residential. So it's switching from residential shoreline to residential. There's no reason to zone it RS. It doesn't front the lake in any way. RS has a bunch of weird provisions that relate to the shoreline. They don't apply here. So the residential zoning makes more sense. Really does not change the scope of what is permitted other than some setback nuances. That site-specific zoning will recognize the 2,700 square meter lot minimum, which is what it's going to be after this adjustment. No minimum frontage will be required. I think I've actually updated this since my report. I've changed it to whatever the survey distance is. I think it's about 30 meters, but it's redefining the eastern lot line on Kinburn as the front lot line. Because right now it doesn't have a front lot line, because your front lot line abuts an improved public street, which this does not. This is an unopened road allowance. So it's redefining that's the front lot line, establishing that distance as the minimum frontage. The setbacks and whatever will then be established based off that being the front lot line. So then the rear is opposite, the interior side yards are the other two. Same with the middle lot, that's going to establish a false front lot line along the Kinburn Street road allowance. It's going to recognize the frontage that it will have, which I believe is about 20 meters, see the 15 or 20, I can't read it on there right now. It'll recognize the undersized lot area of 700 square meters, again is what it is in that picture. It will permit development on a road, lot lacking frontage on an approved public street. The northern lot already has that permission, so that will carry over into the new zoning. And then the southern one, again, recognizing the area deficiency, and there's a minor frontage deficiency. It'll be 28 meters, but that one's frontage is actually Robert because it abuts a real improved public street. So the zoning is really just reflecting what the lot lines are going to be and permitting those lots to be used like any other lot that's existing on the date of passing of the bylaw or that has frontage on an approved public street, which normally we wouldn't permit. The one's already been developed. The middle one does have access on Kinburn to, there's like a road. It's not a maintained road, but there's a driveway kind of esque thing through it. And that northern lot line, like I mentioned, even though it's vacant, that had gone through an amendment in previous years where council had granted it permission to develop without that frontage. So that's kind of the scope of what's going on here. As I mentioned, committee has approved this conditionally. The main outstanding condition being the passing of this amendment. And the County and Conservation Authority did not express any concerns to this, nor did our internal departments as they've been involved with this for quite some time now. So I will leave it there for questions.
Okay. Any questions from members of council? Okay. Not seeing anything. Any person present wishing to object to or support the proposed zoning bylaw amendment or have any questions or comments, please indicate and state their name and address. Again, on a phone, *9, and on a computer, the raise hand feature or button. I'm seeing that there's only 2 attendees, and neither one is indicating that they wish to speak. So, last chance for council members. Any comments, questions? Good for you, Councillor Wickens.
Sorry, one of the members of the public did just raise their hand.
Okay, all right. Councillor Wickens will go to the public member first, and I'll come back to you.
So it doesn't appear that the promote to panelist is working, so I'm going to just do the allow to talk.
Okay.
Thank you. I assume I'm unmuted now.
Yes, you are.
My only question is with regards to what you're referring to as the middle lot, which does have a cottage on it now. Does that cottage have its own septic, or does that not have anything to do with what we're doing here at the moment?
Can you, we'll go to our planner here, but can you just, obviously we can see your name, but please, can you state your name and your address just for the record, please?
Oh, sorry, Leslie O'Reilly, 229 Robert Street.
Okay, thank you. Manager Rapke?
That's a good question. So these, again, I believe were built in the 50s. I don't believe any of them have a septic. You can't, under the legal framework, building code, zoning, force someone to put in a septic for something that exists, that predated building code, and that predated the zoning bylaw. It was permitted that we didn't have a zoning bylaw till about 1970. So you just do stuff. So if something existed before then and continued to exist in compliance with zoning, it gets to continue. If they go to change it to like a house, for example, then it needs a septic put in. But it gets to kind of keep going with the way it is.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councillor Wickens? No, you're on mute.
Is
Yep,
that
there we
better?
go. There we go.
Yeah. So we had some guests come in the house and the dogs went wild. And I missed part of Manager Rapke's last what he was talking about, the laneway there. I was just wondering about access to that middle lot. How do they get to it? Maybe I missed it.
Manager Rapke?
No, I don't think I went over that very well. So the east portion of Kinburn, about 2/3 roughly, that's still going to be road, if you will. So that's designated as what we call public highway legally. So the public has right of passage through there still. And there's physically like kind of a gravelly or hard packed dirt surface that goes up to, it might even be to the northern lot right now, as winter when I was there. So that's how they've been getting in, and that's how they'll continue to get in. And that physical surface still exists within municipal owned property within the public highway, within the right of way.
So is that a pub? Do we maintain that, or is that like a private road, or how does that work, Manager Rapke?
It's an unopened road allowance.
Okay.
But I think, is that a trail through there? Like a snowmobile, or I think the ATVs go through there, but
I think it's kind of multi-use. People use it for a lot of things. There is a very long answer to Councillor Wickens' question, but like effectively the original surveys, or even the ones from the laying out of the Fleshertons and the Pricevilles and the Eugenias of the towns, when those plans got registered with the land registry office, the surveyor wrote, this is a road, this is a lane on certain pieces of land. And when they get deposited, they get immediately become legally defined as a public highway. And when they legally become a public highway, they instantly become the property of the lower tier municipality. That means just effectively the municipality collectively owns it, and the public is allowed to use it like a path where you can't prevent people from being there. It doesn't mean that the municipality has to maintain it or put a physical surface in it. And prior to, I think it's 2003, if a municipality did do that, put a physical surface as a road surface and maintained it as a road, they implicitly assumed it, and they have to keep assuming it as such. Post 2003, that only happens through bylaw. You only assume unassumed right of ways through passing of a bylaw. So it's not maintained. There's not really a road in there, unless someone can prove that was assumed implicitly years ago through regular acts of maintenance. But I don't think you can, because it's not really a real road in there. So that's
I just wondered about fire services and stuff like that, or emergency services having to get in there. That's all. Anyways, all right. Thank you.
okay. Did any other questions come to mind for members of council? No? Okay. As there's no further
Councillor Allen, there's a hand in the public from the other member now.
Oh, okay. I don't see those, so. Clerk Martel. You were unmuted, now you're muted again. There we go. Yep, thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Franca Aquila. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Maybe she's not hearing me. We could hear you. You're muted now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Third time is a charm. My name is Franca Aquila. I'm at 225 Ken Robert Street.
Okay, thank you.
My question is that I'm not touching anything.
We can hear you. I can hear some noise in the background, but I think there's a problem with her microphone.
Anyways, try again. So my question is, will Part 6 parcel of land be sold to the owner of Lot 5? Will there be a price for that portion of Part 6?
I believe the short answer is yes, but I'll go to the manager Rapke. Or perhaps, yeah, manager to the clerk. Yes, I was wondering if that's where we should be going. Clerk Martel.
Yes, so all of the parcels of the west side of the unopened road allowance have been agreements of purchase and sale have already been entered into for those. That was a process went over about 2 years. There was appraisals done on the property and it was all posted, all of those kinds of things. Purchase and sale agreements were entered into. They are on condition of council passing those purchase and sale agreements in open session, which is anticipated that they would, that bylaw to approve those by bylaw will happen on April 5th.
Any other comments, Franca? Maybe we've lost her again. Clerk Martel, can you put in the chat and just ask if she heard that? And ask if she has any other comments, please.
Can you
there
hear
she
me?
is.
I'm fine. I heard the answer. Thank you for that.
Okay,
No other
thank you.
comments.
Thank you. Okay. No other discussion, questions, comments? Oh, Councillor Allwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wondered, is it possible to have a civic address on an unopened road allowance?
I guess whatever address it has now, but Manager Rapke.
Yeah, there's all kinds of weird scenarios with addresses. I'm not sure what they do here, if they give it a King Robert or a Kinburn. But we even have ones that have 2 addresses on like on one lot, depending on the scenario. So there's weird stuff that gets figured out. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that.
All right, last chance. Okay, as there's no further discussion, this application will be forwarded to a future council meeting for further consideration. And I'm going to declare this meeting adjourned at 5:43. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We got through that pretty quick. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you and good evening.
Good job, Mr. Chair.
Thanks.